We're going live. All right. So we are live on Facebook now. Hannah Levin here with Heartfelt Wellbeing. And I'm here with my friend, Kate King, and she's in Colorado. And we are excited to talk today about the power of the retreat experience. Partially because we have both benefited incredibly from going on retreats, and also because we are getting ready to co-lead a retreat that is coming up in April. So, Kate, I would love to start by asking you a little bit about some retreat experiences that you have had that have been pivotal in your own life and development.
Yeah, I love retreats, honestly. I've been to several of them. Some have been international, some have been in different parts of the US, and some have just been one-day workshops that are locally. And they all kind of carry their own magic and their own really unique sort of integration of whatever the work is that's being offered. So the one I want to share the most is I can't remember if it was 5 days or 7 days, but it was in Japan. And it was facilitated by two incredible healers with a community that I had been part of for a while. And so people were brought there from the US, from Australia, from different places in Europe. And it was just this really beautiful coming together of different people, different stories, but all given the opportunity to see ourselves mirrored in one another. And I think to me, that's probably the greatest gift of group work, retreat work, especially because when you're in a multi-day experience with the same people, you start to build a depth with them and a sense of trust and cohesion that allows you to have the safety to do your own work in a way that is not only supported, but also reflected in really unique ways. And so you start to see when someone else is sharing across the circle about something that's really unrelated to your life, but the core themes are things that you can actually relate to. That's a really powerful experience that you really can't get in one-on-one work or even in single day, depth-oriented work. So that's probably my most favorite retreat experience. How about you?
Well, let me ask you before we go to me, what was that retreat focused on?
That was about inner growth. It was kind of like a personal development, kind of spiritual, but not too far out into spirituality, really grounded in modern life and really kind of earth-centered, but into levels of understanding the self. It's actually a lot of the similar work that we'll be doing in our retreat, at least what I'll be bringing to the retreat, is just how to show up more authentically, more profoundly, more alive in your life and your relationships. And so it was a real immersion in those topics.
It sounds like it was also very inspiring to you for work that you wanted to do in your own life. Yeah.
Yeah. When I go to retreats, I end up learning so much that I integrate into my own work, which I then give to my clients. So a huge element of the way that I show up in my work is by walking my talk and by doing the work that I teach. And so with every retreat that I've gone to, I have gone to deeper layers of myself and evolved into new dimensions of being that I then integrate and then I share. So a lot of the work that I'll be sharing at the retreat are things that I've learned through my retreats. And in that way, it's really full circle.
It's awesome that we can receive both skills that we can use at other points in our lives and our own insights and healing and perspective shifts for us in our personal growth and evolution. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, I didn't really introduce Kate at the beginning. I've done another interview with her. Do you want to give just a brief introduction to who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So my background is I'm a licensed psychotherapist and I'm also a board certified art therapist. I've been in the psychotherapy industry for about 15 years. I run a private practice in Denver. for most of those 15 years. And recently in the last year or so, I've kind of done a big overhaul of my work to include more speaking, more writing, more retreats, and less individual one-on-one, although I still have a small private practice. So the work that I offer is really deep, it's really meaningful and transformative for people, and it's based on sort of that next level wellness that so many people are awakening to and ready for in the world that we are, especially after going through the COVID pandemic and really having a reality check about what matters in life and what health looks like. So those are all elements that have been woven in. I'm also an author. I have a published book out there for new moms called The Authentic Mother. And I've got my new book in the works with a publisher. It's called The Radiant Life Project. And it's a lot of the teachings that I'll be sharing at the retreat.
Yay. Yes. And I'm super excited that we have found each other and we are collaborating.
Yes, me too.
So I'd like to share about a couple different retreats that I've been on. One is that I went on a week-long silent meditation retreat. It was actually meditation and yoga. So we did hear a teacher talking during the yoga practice. But that was over New Year's for me. I think it was 2008 when I went on that retreat. And it was amazing to me to go to a place that I'd never been to before. This was at Southern Dharma Retreat Center in Hot Springs, North Carolina. And to be somewhere where we weren't speaking with a group of people that I had never met before, and over time feel incredibly close to them, even though I didn't know anything about them in the way that we would share, like, oh, what's your name and what do you do for a living? And, where'd you grow up? But, we didn't have those kinds of conversations, but we were breathing and meditating and practicing yoga and eating meals in silence for a week. And it was incredibly transformative for me in terms of the connection that I felt both within myself, kind of the peace that settled in, and the connection that I felt. And some of those people ended up being in my life longer term. And then, oh my gosh, I've been to so many retreats, but another one that I went to that was very awesome for me. It was actually another New Year's retreat. I guess that's a time of year I like to go on retreat. Was at Kripalu in Massachusetts. And it was a Kundalini yoga and art retreat. And we did these large self-portraits where we traced ourselves, or we had a partner trace us onto this big sheet of paper. And we went like between yoga practices and meditation practices and working on this self-portrait piece. And that too was incredibly powerful for me. And yeah, I just loved it. I think there is a real gift that we give ourselves when we step outside of our lives in the day-to-day and set aside time and energy and resources to facilitate growth and connectivity. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think of it as like a sacred pause. And it's not a pause where nothing happens. It's an intentional pocket that you sort of carve out in the side of your life where you go over there and you do something different than the grocery shopping, the parenting, the doctor's appointments, whatever the thing is that you're used to doing. And by creating that sacred space where you can pause and you can come together with other people who are doing the same, there's sort of this very fertile experience that happens because there's space for it. And when we allow space for things, we don't really have to try to cultivate what's ready to be worked on or talked about or witnessed within ourselves, because it naturally bubbles up to the surface when there's space. And so, Hannah, I see you and I as the guides and facilitators for helping to sort of nurture that space
Mm.
and support people in that sacred pause. And then the rest of it is really natural. And the magic of the retreats is that the group that comes together is I've never been in a retreat where the group hasn't been sort of magically aligned, even though they don't know each other and they're not quite sure, what pulled them there. It's always a really beautiful synergy of the people who show up. And so
Mm.
the sacred pause ends up kind of being filled energetically with what each of those people bring to the container. And then it's nurtured together in the collective.
Yes. It's a reset in a way of like getting, um, kind of filling up your own inner cup when you've been, most of us are giving a lot, and definitely going on retreat is a chance to have that pause, to reconnect to ourselves as well, and just be like, who am I right now at this stage in my life? What do I need?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's always really beautiful for me to see kind of how I reemerge from a retreat back
Mhm.
into that day-to-day life, because I'm still the same person. The life is still the same life, but there is something that shifts in really subtle, nuanced ways because
Mhm.
of the work that happens in the retreat. There's sort of a new lens that factors in when I return to my life, where I may have a new perspective on relationships. I may have new awareness of the way I'm showing up, or some of my self-involvement in the world. So that's always really fruitful too. It's like the retreat plants little seeds, and then you
Yes.
get to see the growth of those seeds for a long time afterwards.
Yes. That's so true. So let's talk about what we will be doing at the retreat that
Mhm.
we're leading together. So we're leading a retreat in Golden, Colorado. So I'm going out west. And it's April 20th through the 23rd. And it's really focused on rejuvenation. So rejuvenation, body, mind, spirit. So Kate, will you talk about what you will be facilitating and offering at that retreat?
Yes. So my piece is all about the inner work, related to the psyche, related to your personal growth and development and healing. And I will be offering art therapeutic work, as well as circle time conversations, and the coming together of group work to really dive into the layers of you that feel like they are ready to be looked at for healing and introspection and transformation. And together as a group, you don't need to be coming in with any particular agenda or at any particular level. The work that I offer is really applicable at any stage that you're at. And the art will help to sort of move the energy through you and outward from you in a way that you can see in a really tangible way, through the different materials that we'll use. And it will investigate the different parts of you. There's a parts psychology element to what I do. It's grounded in internal family systems work, if you want to look that up. But essentially, it's just all the different parts of ourselves that sort of orbit around the true self that is our essence, and how those different parts of us help us out in life and also can kind of interfere and hold us back, for the sake of protection, and how, our psyche and our system is always on our side, but sometimes we have to really update it and teach it that we're capable of going to new edges. And with the learning about ourselves, we can really grow from those old places where we might be stuck. So that's a lot of what I'll be teaching.
Yes, and I'm so excited for all of that. Um, and I have to say, I mean, I incorporate art and creative practices into all the retreats that I lead, and I'm very, very excited to be co-leading this with you because of the skill as an art therapist that you bring to what we'll be sharing. So it's just kind of like up leveling it for me to get to be a participant in that with you. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to be bringing the components of yoga and Ayurveda, and connection really with the body and learning about our mind and body types through Ayurveda, as well as connecting with breath and movement of yoga, and also through energy of meditation, to really get to know ourselves on those levels too. So understanding yourself in terms of your elemental nature, in terms of your doshic makeup, and then also in the context of both your season of life that you're in currently and the season of the year that we're in. So we'll be focusing on springtime and what that looks like in terms of foods that we're eating, activities that we're doing, ways in which we work with the rhythms of the day. And so I'm really excited to bring all of that to what I'll be offering in yoga and Ayurveda. And then additionally, I'll be making all the food. So I'll be making 3 meals a day for us at this house that we're going to be leading the retreat at. And I'm really excited because I love cooking and sharing food with people, and to really look at the seasonality of how we can eat and how that feels to nourish us. So even the experience of having meals will be something to reflect on and gain insight from, nourishing food, and what that feels like for you to eat in alignment with the season. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So our days will be a combination of kind of weaving back and forth between who's leading sessions, and also some open time for creativity or taking a walk or taking a nap or whatever you need to do. And we only have space for 12 women altogether, and 10 of those spots are already filled, which is really exciting. So we only have 2 spots left. And if anybody who's watching this is interested in joining us, we would love to hear from you. And I'll post a link with this on my Facebook for you to read more about the retreat. What else do you want to say about?
I want to touch just a little bit more on the community of bringing the retreat kind of into being. Some of the closest people in my life are people that I met on retreat. And it's because of that intimacy that's fostered when you do step away from your life and you join in a circle with aligned people who also have the similar intentions, and they're in the similar place of their life where they're looking for something that's common with what you're looking for, even if it may have a different name. So from the Japan retreat that I was on, I made amazing friends who live in New York, who live in Dublin. These are people that I talk to every single week, even though we don't live in the same place. And so this is an opportunity for that as well, to come together with people who might be able to really support and show up for you in the stage of life that you are now. And I think that ties in with the rejuvenation theme of the springtime and the new beginnings, because there is a theme lately with my clients and just in the world in general. I feel like a lot of people are making fresh starts. It seems like many people are creating endings that feel like they've kind of been pent up and ready to end, and stepping into new beginnings that may have felt really scary or really unknown. There feels to me like there's a collective movement toward courage right now and taking those leaps. And so this group of women that are coming together, this is also a new beginning. And we don't know where this could lead. This could become a community where we have more retreats based on the same group. This could be an entry point for new friendships. And I just wanted to highlight the connection piece, because for me, that's been such a highlight in the retreat work I've done personally.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like it's the basis of this retreat coming into existence, that you and I connected, a mutual friend connected us, and we were just like, oh, a sister friend, and then like we have been, trusting and, arriving to this process in faith that this collaboration just feels so aligned. And the connection that we experienced in meeting was something that we both decided to take action on, right? To be like, we're going to birth this retreat and invite people to come work with both of us, which is, I think, stellar, like really amazing that we're collaborating in this way. And what it offers is something that has never existed before. You
Yeah.
know, we're living into that potential together.
Yes.
And, we're modeling that by creating this experience. And then what will come out of it? Maybe it's more collaboration with us. Maybe it's other things with participants, and maybe it's something we do annually. We'll see. But the seeds are planted, right? And, we were talking before we went live too, that we were kind of like, let's try leading a retreat. And they're like, okay, let's do it in Colorado. That's where Kate's licensed. Okay. Like that's where we'll go. And then like these pieces, like finding the house and finding, and then we're like, what if nobody signs up? And then like, look at us, like 10 people are signed up and we have 2 spots available. So it is this intimate group that we're creating. And the magic of what we each bring, plus the alchemy of the group, is gonna make it all really, really incredible.
Yeah, I think that it's really unique what we're both bringing. And like you said, it really hasn't been done before. And it creates something that, in my perspective, it is a true integration in a holistic way of the mind, body, and spirit.
Right,
And it's not even separated where you're in terms of the body and I'm in terms of the mind, but we
right,
really have a nice way of flowing between those and then deferring to each other's expertise when necessary, but also allowing there to be collaborative space in between. And I just think the food element, the yoga, the breathing, the art, the psyche, all of these things are going to create a really dynamic experience. And however each participant shows up is the way that they're going to show up in their state of readiness. And I think it's going to be absolutely perfect.
right. Absolutely. Yeah. And like you said before, there's no requirement of like previous therapeutic work or artistic skill or yoga ability or knowledge about the seasons or any of it. Like
Yes.
just it's it's here for you to learn. It's not that you need to have learned already. Right.
Yes, I think it's good for those perfectionist people who feel like they can only do things if they're already really good at them,
Right.
because there will be no one in our retreat who is really experienced in all of the things that we're offering. My clients may have more experience with the psychological depth work, but they may never have heard of Ayurveda, or it might be their first time eating that way. Your clients may have been really centered in the yogic practice and the dosha experience, but they may not understand parts work. And so it's a really nice balancing act of having the foundation of what brought you here as, interested in you in whatever this topic has offered to you, but then also the pieces that are going to feel new and,
Right.
open your heart and open your mind and be ready to experience some things that you may not have even known existed before.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Golden is right outside of Denver. So it's easy if you're traveling from far away. Denver is an easy airport to fly into. And then it's just a short little Uber ride or taxi ride to where we're going to have our retreat.
Mhm.
And anything else you want to encourage or share?
I just encourage that if this feels like a yes for you, if you have that little tingle of curiosity, if you have questions, just let us know. Be in touch. Feel free to email Hannah or myself and ask your questions. And this is the time to take leaps. And if this feels like a leap that is aligned for anyone who's listening, we would be so honored and grateful to have you join our experience.
Amen. Yes. Retreats are incredible. And especially if I guess I'll say this for my community, most people know me just online. And it is so powerful to meet in person and to have that more intimate experience. And it it's just a whole nother level. And so, especially for the community, since I do only work online, except for in-person retreats, this is really an amazing opportunity in a very small, intimate group to come together. And in general, I just want to encourage everybody to go on retreats, like that it is a really beneficial thing. I mean, it's something that I keep encouraging myself to do. The cheerleader part of me says, make sure you set aside time to go on retreats, right? And even now facilitating them, it's still a real important piece for me to receive at times too, to go be a member, a participant in retreats, to have that opportunity. It's a true gift to myself. And so I'm honored to be able to facilitate retreat experience for other people. And I know Kate is too, and that we are able to support the growth that we have benefited so much from in our own retreat experience. So join us if it works for you to come to Golden, April 20th through 23rd. I'm really excited about that weekend too, because it's Earth Day weekend. And what a perfect time. It's kapha season. Kapha is earth and water elements. And to celebrate Earth Day as part of this retreat, like, how awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be so fantastic. I'm so excited for it too.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, let us know if you're interested. You can reach out in any form, email or Facebook, or what else do we have? Instagram. You should check out Kate on Instagram. She does a daily post that I love. They're short little reels. They're just like great inspirational things to think about, empowering. So is that Radiant Life Project that is?
The Radiant Life Project.
Okay.
Yes. So on all social medias, my handle is The Radiant Life Project, and my website is theradiantlifeproject.com. So you can check out my work there. I know probably a lot of people listening here are familiar with Hannah's work because you're on her page and you know how brilliant she is. So if I'm new to you, feel free to check me out online. Contact me through DM or through my website. I'm happy to chat and collaborate and hear where you're at. And very open to questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Kate. It's wonderful as always, to talk with you. And I'm just getting more and more excited, especially as spring. Does it feel springy there yet or not really?
We're expecting 10 inches of snow tonight.
Oh.
So, it's like that in Colorado. It might be like that in April. It might be warm and sunny. It's a very hit or miss kind of climate here. So
we'll make the best of it, whatever it is. Yeah, it's really feeling like spring here. So I'm getting like really excited for springtime retreat. So yes. Well, thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Take care, everybody. Bye.